My name's Zygmund Somogyi. I'm a composer, writer, performer, artistic director of music magazine Preludes. Do a certain amount of other things as well. I'd say I have a stylistic irreverence. I'm influenced just as much by like punk, metal, electronic music, experimental theatre, video games, as I am the classical quote-unquote canon, whatever the fuck that means. There was a lovely little phenomenon that was discovered, or not discovered, but happened a number of years ago called the grindcore goat. And it's a goat that liked grindcore and lived in like, it's a genre of music that's kind of like a mixture of hardcore punk and extreme metal, with like loads of blast beats, and the songs are usually really short. There was this phenomenon called the grindcore goat, and it was this goat that was rescued from a farm in France and just enjoyed hanging out in this grindcore venue. And there's like some photos of these like really extreme bands like playing their shit, and then some people like watching them, and then this goat here just going like meh. The band that was playing in the photo that got popularized of this goat were called Mrama. They're a grindcore band based in Singapore, and they put out an album called Hiss. What I love most about heavy music is how vulnerable like it allows you to be, which is why I've decided to take out all of the heaviness for this particular piece and write something that is intimate, that explores macro concepts on a micro scale. The piece is called See You in the Stars, with the optional subtitle of or a series of voice notes between two cosmological entities. Thought a lot about communication and what it's like to try and communicate with something that is far away, or that you can't see, or that you can't understand. There's a lot to do with language there. Yeah, that was a fantastic shot. I thought about the nature of communication between performer and audience, and ways to convey speech or emotion more broadly, in a way that doesn't necessarily use words but implies them. And that's kind of the crux of what I'm doing with this piece. What really appeals to me about music is its power for catharsis, its power for expressing emotions that one might not be able to with words. It's why I'm really drawn to heavy music in particular. There's a real kind of vulnerability, and there's a real kind of like cathartic understanding that comes out of that, this kind of idea of screaming into the void. And I found a real understanding in that I've not really felt anywhere else. And that's why it appeals to me. And that's why it's also really fun to take that out, take the heaviness out, and see what you're left with. It's really cool. There's such a kind of like uncanny voice-like quality to it that I've not really been able to find. I've not been able to find this kind of out of most instruments I've written for, out of all instruments I've written for probably, it's probably the most anthropomorphic, or the most anthropomorphizatory. I don't know if that's a word, it's a word now. And the way it kind of creates this almost uncanny vocal-like quality, and that's something I just really wanted to explore. I thought it was really cool. Something bassy, but not a double bass, but something that has a similar quality, but that is a string instrument as well. Think of viola da gamba, but like 5 times as big. We can arrange that, awesome. Yeah, of course, you know? Yeah, make it work. Yeah, as we know, you know? Yo, 7th of December, Future Strategy Club, Peckham, Bussy Building, from 7 p.m. Come catch us, it'll be a vibe.